What if we told you Cup Noodles didn't start in a high-tech factory, but as a solution to post-war hunger in Japan? From mixing dough to the perfect noodle strands, this is how millions of cup noodles are made in a factory. The journey of cup noodles begins with an inspiring story of innovation and necessity. In 1958, Japan was struggling to recover from the effects of World War II. Food was in short supply, and people waited in long lines at ramen stalls just to get a meal. Momofuku Ando, an entrepreneur, wanted to help. He had an idea for a meal that was cheap, could last a long time, and was easy to make. After months of experimenting, he found the solution: frying noodles to remove moisture while keeping their texture. This breakthrough led to the creation of chicken ramen, the world's first instant noodle. But Ando didn't stop there. In 1971, he took things further with cup noodles. By packaging noodles in a sturdy, heat-resistant cup, he made them even easier to prepare. No separate bowl needed. The idea was a huge hit, and today, factories around the world make millions of cup noodles every day to keep up with demand. So how exactly are these noodles made? The journey of cup noodles starts in massive warehouses filled with carefully chosen ingredients like wheat flour, water, salt, and starch. These ingredients might seem simple, but they're the backbone of every noodle block. Factories pay close attention to their quality because even small changes can make a big difference in the final product. A special ingredient called kanui is often added to give the noodles their signature chewiness. This unique addition ensures that every bite is satisfying, with just the right amount of elasticity. Once everything is ready, these ingredients are measured out with incredible precision and poured into huge industrial mixers. The mixers slowly combine everything, and water is added to carefully form a smooth, soft dough. Too much water can make the dough sticky and hard to work with, while too little would leave it dry and brittle. This step requires a perfect balance, and modern sensors help monitor the dough's consistency. The result is a dough that's uniform and ready for the next step in its transformation. The dough is then moved to rolling machines, where it starts to take shape. These machines are incredible, carefully flattening the dough into thin sheets step by step. It's not just about getting it thinner though. Each pass through the rollers helps strengthen the gluten in the dough, which gives the noodles their unique stretchiness and chewiness. The process is done gradually to make sure the dough doesn't tear or lose its structure. By the end, the sheets are smooth, uniform, and so thin that they're almost transparent. From there, the dough heads to the cutting machines, where it starts to look like actual noodles. These high-speed machines use sharp blades to slice the dough into long, even strands with impressive precision. Depending on the type of noodle being made, the blades can be adjusted to create different shapes and styles. For example, the classic wavy noodles are formed with special blades that give them their signature curls, while straighter cuts are used for simpler noodle styles. Every strand is perfectly uniform in size and length, thanks to the precision of the machines. But what about the leftover scraps? Nothing goes to waste here. Any extra bits of dough are recollected, reworked, and sent back through the process to make even more noodles. With the noodles cut, it's time to start cooking. The first step is steaming, which brings out their flavor and strengthens their structure. Inside large steam chambers, high-pressure nozzles spray the noodles with a fine mist of water. This gentle process softens them just enough while locking in their shape. The steam gives the noodles a smooth texture and a slight shine, preparing them perfectly for the next stages. Once steamed, the noodles are cooled down quickly with a refreshing rinse of chilled water. This step stops the cooking process right away, making sure they don't get too soft or lose their springy texture. The cold water also helps the noodles stay firm while keeping their elasticity. Afterward, any extra moisture is blown off using air dryers, leaving the noodles dry and ready for their next transformation. At this point, the noodles have come a long way from their simple beginnings. They've gone through precise mixing, rolling, cutting, steaming, and cooling to become perfectly shaped in cooked strands. Next, the noodles are shaped into their familiar blocks. This is where they get their iconic form, whether it's the classic square block for traditional cup noodles or circular shapes for other regional variations. The noodles are carefully placed into molds, which compact them into consistent shapes. These molds make sure that the noodles not only look uniform, but also cook evenly when hot water is added later. This shaping process is quick, but critical. It's the final step before they're made shelf-stable. Once shaped, the noodles are fully prepared for the next part of their journey: frying. Frying is the most important part of making instant noodles. This is where noodles get their unique crisp texture and long shelf life. Each noodle block is carefully submerged in hot oil for just 2 minutes. During this time, almost all the moisture is removed, leaving the noodles light, crispy, and ready to be cooked quickly at home. The frying process also creates tiny air pockets in the noodles, which help them soak up hot water and broth when prepared. That's why instant noodles are so quick and satisfying to make. The type of oil used is just as important. Factories often use vegetable oils like palm or canola, which are chosen because they can handle high heat without breaking down. The oil is regularly filtered and recycled to keep it fresh and ensure quality. For those looking for healthier options, some manufacturers use air drying instead of frying. In this process, hot air is blown over the noodles to dry them slowly, reducing fat content while maintaining a similar texture. Whether fried or air dried, the noodles are quickly cooled to preserve their structure before moving to the next step. While the noodles are crisping up, the seasoning packets are being prepared. This is where the flavors that make cup noodles so special come to life. In massive kettles, ingredients like soy sauce, spices, vegetable extracts, and sometimes meats are slow cooked to create rich, flavorful broths. These broths are then dehydrated into powder or made into sauce packets, depending on the recipe. The process is incredibly precise. Each ingredient is carefully measured to ensure that every broth has the perfect balance of flavors. For example, chicken broth might include a mix of savory spices and dehydrated chicken extract, while spicy flavors use chili powders and pepper oils to pack a punch. Miso varieties rely on fermented soybeans to deliver that signature tangy and umami-rich taste. Dried vegetables, mushrooms, and proteins are also prepared during this stage. These toppings are chopped and dried using special machines that preserve their color, flavor, and texture. Vegetables like green onions, carrots, and cabbage are dried to retain their crunchiness when rehydrated, while proteins like shrimp or diced chicken are freeze-dried to lock in freshness. Each topping is portioned with precision, so every cup gets just the right amount of extras to match its unique flavor. Together, the noodles and seasoning packets create the perfect pairing. Now it's time for assembly. Robotic arms place the noodle blocks into pre-formed cups, ensuring they're perfectly centered. Dried vegetables, proteins, and seasoning packets are added next. The assembly process is highly automated, with advanced machinery ensuring consistency and efficiency. Cups are sealed with foil lids that lock in freshness and prevent contamination. The packaging stage is just as delicate as the production process. Once the cups are sealed, they're wrapped in protective plastic to shield them from light and moisture. Bold, colorful designs make the packaging visually appealing, while the inner aluminum lining preserves freshness. From there, robotic systems stack the cups into boxes for shipment. These robots handle the cups with care, ensuring they're not damaged during transport. Factories can produce up to 650,000 cups per day, all of which are shipped worldwide to meet the ever-growing demand. But the story doesn't end at the factory. Cup noodles have continued to evolve to meet changing consumer preferences. Many manufacturers now offer low sodium and gluten-free options, as well as flavors inspired by international cuisines. Sustainability is another focus area. Factories are adopting energy-efficient practices and exploring eco-friendly packaging materials to reduce their environmental impact. Cup noodles' global appeal is undeniable. China is the largest consumer, with over 40 billion servings annually, while South Korea leads in per capita consumption, with an average of 75 servings per person each year. Even astronauts have enjoyed instant noodles in space, proving their versatility and universal popularity. And that's how cup noodles are made, from simple ingredients to the tasty seasonings that make them so popular. But before you go, we want to know, what's your favorite cup noodles flavor? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss more behind the scenes looks at your favorite foods.